Hello, arts managers. Today I'm going to be addressing our current coronavirus crisis in Cliche. Let's see how many it takes. Once upon a time, like many aspiring arts auxiliary, I fell in love with the performing arts, wearing itchy tights and leotards. I loved dance, everything about it, the dorky music and costumes, and even the big end-of-year recital in all its glory. One year in particular, I was going to get to have a big back walkover solo. I'd been perfecting my back walkover all year, and my family, my mom, and 5 of us kids, who were already running late as usual, got a flat tire on the way to the recital. By some miracle, I was able to catch a ride and make it to the auditorium just in the nick of time, except I forgot my dance shoes. And my dance teacher, who was standing in the wings, looked at me and said, "Kate-Lyn, the show must go on." So I ran out on stage. And I was a bit embarrassed to be the only one without shoes on her feet. But I danced like no one was watching, and just as my feet left the ground in my back walkover, my Capezio tights, which had absolutely no traction, slipped, and everything came crashing down. Beyond a shattered ego, I had also dislocated my right arm. My dominant arm, just dangling there, painfully out of place. And you know, sometimes the show cannot go on. Like now, for example. I can't fully explain the impact of COVID-19 on the arts industry because we are living it now. At one fell swoop, shelter-in-place orders caused theaters, concert halls, museums, and art venues across the U.S. to shut their doors. And just like that, thousands of artists and arts workers were completely dislocated. It can feel hopeless. Arts business economist Tim Schneider calls the arts discretionary spending. This basically means when tragedy strikes at the end of the day, the arts are hit first and hardest. During the Black Plague, the Globe Theater had to close its doors. But what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, right? Throughout history, like a phoenix from the ashes, the arts emerge from tragedy richer than ever before. For example, the Great Depression emerged great works like Grapes of Wrath, a tale as old as time. And from the US AIDS crisis, works like Angels in America and Rent that influence works today. And during his darkest hour, Shakespeare survived isolation by writing King Lear, an immortal work that has themes like grief, betrayal, and insanity, which quite frankly are feelings I'm having a lot personally right now. When the dust settles, art is always there to help us contend with the trauma. Time after time, art is our light at the end of the tunnel. We will survive this. But what do we do right now? What do we do when we're in the thick of it? According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the arts are a $730 billion industry, employing 4.8 million arts workers in the U.S. 4.8 million individuals who are depending on the survival of the arts. For families, these families, the show literally must go on. But the show cannot go on as it once was, as it was before, but it doesn't have to. Today we have something that they didn't have available to them during the Great Depression or the Black Plague. We have technology that allows us to act, react, and interact in the blink of an eye, or the stroke of a key, as it were. If necessity is the mother of invention, there is need, now more than ever, for artists to reinvent their place in the world, and for us to reinvent how we communicate and how we engage our audience. On March 18th, the Metropolitan Museum of Art announced that it would be shutting its doors until at least July. And due to this, they estimated around $100 million deficit. In the same week, the Met YouTube views were up 150%. And Met Kids' website, its online traffic increased over 800%, according to artnet.com reports. Despite tragedy, people want to engage. And during our current crisis, when the only way to reach our constituents is through digital engagement, it's now or never, folks. Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 2, the purpose of playing was and is to hold, as it were, a mirror to nature. Currently, and from now on, operating and connecting through virtual platforms will be part of our nature. Effective digital communication, which has been the art's Achilles heel, now determines if your arts company will sink or swim, survive or thrive. But what can we do when our industry is one of the few that actually hinges on togetherness? The DNA of the performing arts is built on human connection. It's in our blood. So what do we do when we can no longer be together? What if I told you the secret ingredient to success was cliche? No, not a cliche, but the recipe for success can be found in the recipe for a cliche. Hezekiah Anderson, author of In Praise of the Cliche, discusses that cliche can be used as a powerful communication tool. Let's dissect a cliche. Cliches are sturdy, truthful, universal, and descriptive. A cliche is built to last, honest to a fault, easy as pie to understand, wears its heart on its sleeve, and reminds us that we're all in this together. These principles of a cliche, truth, connection, emotion, and personalization, are the same 4 priorities outlined by the National Arts Marketing Project in their guide to making art organizations more human. So, can a cliche make digital communication for arts organizations more human? Right now, when you hear a cliche, it brings on a sense of immediate familiarity. In these trying times, patrons are looking for safe familiarity. Does your website feel like home? Sweet home. Cliches explain complicated truths simply. Are your email blasts honest as the day is long? Does your company tell it like it is? Cliches are easily accessible. Can all of your patrons and potential patrons get with the program? Can they engage, participate, learn, and donate, all on an individualized basis? Cliche brings a sense of camaraderie and community through common understanding. It's comforting to know we're all in the same boat. Does your digital communication focus on your community? Right now, we are dislocated, dangling painfully out of place. But nothing lasts forever. We will get through this. So remember, arts managers, as we stress eat ourselves out of house and home, it may feel like we're using a thimble to bail out a sinking ship. But we're all on the same team. And now, more than ever, it is our job to invest in and build strong, innovative digital communication. And not to sound cliche, but our future depends on it. The end.